Welcome to the German Perspective, where we pick news from German sources about American events. Today's topic: Trump's iconic fist, the image that could change American history. Gunshots ring out, blood flows, and the man on the podium is taken away by security officers. At that moment, he raises his fist, shouting to the crowd, "Fight." What sounds like a scene from a Hollywood blockbuster is a moment that will likely go down in history. No wonder that days later, the first Trump fans get this very gesture tattooed on their skin with black ink, more or less accurately. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. There it is, Trump's fist. 75 seconds after the assailant shot at him, and before Secret Service agents drag him away, Donald Trump responds with this gesture. The raised fist, Trump's standard gesture for years. He shows it at many appearances and increasingly often since his failed re-election in 2020. On this day in Butler, Pennsylvania, he has finally made it a monument thanks to Pulitzer Prize winner Evan Vucci and his picture of the assassination attempt, balancing on a narrow edge of fiction and reality. The blood on Trump's face, the U.S. flag majestically filling the bright blue sky, and the raised fist of the presidential candidate. It all seems almost staged. Vucci's almost incomprehensible shot is the ultimate aestheticization of the assassination attempt on Donald J. Trump. At the same time, it canonizes him as a political martyr. One might almost think that the 78-year-old Republican could have prepared for this moment, could have planned it all as part of a sinister campaign strategy. Of course, it wasn't so. Yet, Trump could prepare. Because the history of political photography is rich in protest images, and Trump is a man of images. He knows exactly how to stage himself, where the lenses are, and in what light the powdered complexion appears a bit more vivid. Will Trump win because of this photo? In this crucial moment, shortly after the bullets from the shooter's semi-automatic rifle flew past him and tore open an ear, narrowly escaping with his life, he makes this gesture, an instinctual gesture which Gotthold Ephraim Lessing would have called the pregnant moment. The drama captured at its peak, but not yet decided. The fate of the protagonist remains ambivalent. It can go either way. Which direction it will go after this iconic shot of the assassination attempt on Trump seems clear to commentators. Trump will win the election in November, also because of this photo. Indeed, images can not only write history, they can also change it. The image of the assassination of John F. Kennedy in December 1963 went around the world. How the president, fatally hit by a projectile, collapses in the back seat of the open Lincoln, and the First Lady in her pastel-colored dress panics and climbs onto the trunk while a security agent reaches out to her. It is ironic that he uses this gesture. The image put the U.S. in a state of shock. After that, the country was different. It drifted apart. The shots from Dallas increasingly made the United States into the disunited states that the country presents itself as today. The American right with Donald Trump as a formative figure is a direct result of this dark chapter in American history, writes historian Lloyd Cox. Kennedy's assassination deepened the divide between Democrats and Republicans. Trump benefits immensely from this division today by stylizing himself as the champion of a white America first strategy. The raised fist is the signal of this cultural struggle, once the symbol of left-wing class fighters, socialists, black civil rights activists like Martin Luther King, or recently the Black Lives Matter movement. In short, all those against whom Trump usually rails. Unforgotten, how Tommy Smith and John Carlos raised their fists on the podium at the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City. The two African-American runners had won gold and bronze that day. The medal ceremony became a symbol of the protest for more rights for ethnic minorities in the U.S. and worldwide. It is an irony of history that now Trump uses this gesture for his political campaign. The ex-president, who has been railing against minorities, demonizing migrants, and talking about a bloodbath if he is not re-elected for years. A cynical act of cultural appropriation, one might say. The main thing is to stay in the conversation. The 78-year-old presidential candidate masters the game of poses and images like no other. Trump, who invested his inherited money in flashy buildings on New York's noble Upper East Side and later multiplied it with luxurious golf courses and casino hotels, would probably have remained a shrewd real estate agent if he hadn't discovered television, or television him. He used it as a springboard for a career as a TV star, later as an amplifier for his appearances as a politician. Trump is a master of self-staging, whether as a patron of major boxing matches or as a pompous judge on the TV show The Apprentice, where he decided the fate of profit-oriented young entrepreneurs. That he was fired by the production company after more than a decade because he made racist remarks about Mexican immigrants did not diminish his popularity with the audience. Trump knows all too well that every second in the spotlight is a 1 second. The main thing is to stay in the conversation. And so he has evolved over the past few years from the pretentious real estate mogul whose success would be unthinkable without his father Fred's considerable fortune and countless tax tricks to the great image shaman. The protest fist is just the latest expression of this transformation. Almost everything Trump produces in terms of appearances and images quickly becomes cult, be it the seemingly stiff gestures, the pursed lips, and the squinting eyes when he targets his opponents at the podium, be it the mugshot, the police identification photo that he quickly printed on mugs and t-shirts to raise funds for his campaign, or the fist. An amazing similarity to a famous painting with Trump, it becomes a pop cultural dominance gesture, a cynical act of cultural appropriation, repurposed for his proto-fascist campaign against the Democrats, and generally against anyone who is not for him. For Donald Trump, he raised his fist defiantly after his conviction as a fraudster before a court in Manhattan, triumphantly at party conventions and campaign events, like recently in Milwaukee, or shocked but quick-witted as in Butler after the almost deadly shots. Trump may not shine with political programs, but his instinct for the moment and that form of visual language, which is called iconic and burns itself into the collective memory, is exceptional. As in the photo by AP photographer Evan Vucci, in the history of media, probably no image has made the leap into the collective memory as quickly as that photo from last Saturday. Immediately after its publication, it was already celebrated as historic, comparable to the images of the collapsing towers on September 11, 2001. Some viewers referred to the amazing similarity to a famous painting of revolutionary history, Eugenie Delacroix's Liberty Leading the People, Come to Take Revenge. In fact, composition and motif show astonishing parallels. Here, Liberty, a strong woman, leading the people against the oppressive monarchy of Charles X with the tricolor in her hand. There, Trump, calling his followers to fight for the White House and to complete his cultural and political revolution in the U.S., which began in 2016. Delacroix's romantic tableau was not allowed to be exhibited for many decades. Too dangerous did it appear to the representatives of the Ancien Régime, the Old and later the New Order. They apparently feared that the image, with its strong, rebellious gesture, could ignite popular anger and incite the mob to revolt. It is not entirely far-fetched to assume that Vucci's Trump icon will have the same effect. However, his image can no longer be locked away. It is already being printed by Trump supporters and angry citizens on t-shirts and mugs, or immortalized as tattoos on the skin of MAGA disciples. Vucci himself speaks in an interview with Time magazine of having photographed a key moment in American history. It is not excluded that this flawless shot by the Pulitzer Prize winner will contribute to Trump actually being elected to the White House on November 5th, so that the old and new resident can take his revenge on the American democracy, which allegedly cost him re-election in 2020. Trump himself has repeatedly flirted with the idea of taking revenge on his opponents for the injustice allegedly done to him. It sounds threatening. What do you think about the impact of iconic images on political campaigns? Let us know in the comments below. This video was generated using artificial intelligence. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more updates. See you next time.